Addiction is they say, we say in the program, it's cunning, it's baffling, and it's powerful. Well, there's an imaginary line between recreational use and full-blown addiction. And so
Okay.
what's so unique about it, you don't know that you crossed that line until after you crossed the line, right? I was a functioning addict for a very long time. I always did well. I excelled in my jobs. I was able to, land some opportunities with some world-class organizations, and I always performed at a high level. But my personal life and addiction, eventually, it took over. I went to treatment 12 times, Tara. 12 times. I wanted
Wow.
to stop. I wanted to stop. I mean, really. It was, but, and I talk about it, not really giving the book away, but I talk about how I had to get to the root of the
Okay.
problem, right? Because I was not really getting to the root. I thought the drugs and the alcohol were the problem. And that's what I was battling. If I could just stop using these drugs. But they were only a result of the problem. The real problem was that I was not living by these principles that I talk about in this book. I didn't understand it.
Wow. Wow. That's such, I know it's so much more to that story. I'm pretty sure you have to get the book, y'all, to get the to get some more of this. But it's just amazing, because there are many people do struggle with addiction and they don't realize that it's not the thing you use. It's something underneath that. There's a reason for it. And so I heard you say alcohol, and I heard you say weed, but what other drugs did you get involved with?
Well, I started out, smoking marijuana, and then I started drinking. Then I started snorting cocaine. I used cocaine, and then I graduated eventually to crack. And crack was what really brought me to my knees. And believe it or not, this may sound funny, but I'm a bit grateful for crack, because had it not been for crack, I would not have maybe been introduced to these principles. I would have struggled on to the bitter ends, because, like I said, I was a functional addict. But when crack, and it doesn't matter. It's not about the substance. It can be gambling. It can be sex. It can be food. It can be anything. Eventually, when a person is caught up in the grips of full-blown addiction, they are not in control. They are not in control. And so, but crack, it brought me to a point where either I was going to learn how to live clean or I was going to die.
With being having an addiction, it has to become something that is life or death, before you make a change. Or even just having a bad habit is something you have to become angry about. Otherwise, you will tolerate it because you feel like I can handle it. So there's no need for you to make a change. And
Yeah.
for anybody that maybe just catching this late, or joining in late, walking in the room, or whatever it is, that they're catching this, can you show us again your book? I'm Tarah M. Williams, and we're here talking with Timothy Stewart, author of Free Yourself from Yourself. Thank you, Tim. You guys can see the book. It looks great, doesn't it? So the book can be purchased at Amazon.com. Please leave reviews, guys. Go back and leave
Absolutely.
at Amazon.com and join the initiative to donate 1,000 books to recovery centers across the world. You can do that at freeyourselfromyourself.com or FYFY.com, and you can make a purchase of those books so that they can be donated to recovery centers. So
Terry,
Tim,
Terry, you said something really key, and I want to go back to it because it was really key. You said what we tolerate, and that's a principle. What we tolerate, we allow, and what we allow will never change.
exactly.
And one of the things that you were asking about my story was, I remember the first treatment that I went into. I really wanted to stop using. I said, that's it. I've had enough. I'm done. But it didn't happen. And I think that a lot of times, and I think that this is where free yourself from yourself is going to be very valuable to a lot of people, is that identification piece. Um, Understanding what I was dealing with. I thought it was the drugs. I kept fighting the drugs. I stayed away from the people, places, and things, as they say. But I continued to go back, and it's because I didn't get to the root. They say you can't get a different fruit until you change the root, but you got to understand what the root is, and then once you understand what it is, you got to learn how it operates. And so yeah, and that's FYFY book, FYFYbook.com.
Okay.
So, yeah, but so yeah, I'm excited, and the donation, that donation program is just win-win for everybody. And there's a lot of hurting people in our society. When we look at the numbers, statistics show there's 21 million people in America alone that are suffering from addiction. 21 million. So everybody pretty much knows somebody that is dealing with addiction, and you can be a blessing to those folks. To help someone deal with a dilemma, that they have no idea of how to overcome it. To be a part of that is priceless.
Yeah, and there's something else you had mentioned too. I wanted to just say this: wherever you go, there you are. And most times in life, we are running from self. We're running from traumas or things that affected us. And so, when getting to the root of things, people just don't realize that, when they say, well, you're the common denominator, you're the common factor here. And so, you can't run from you can't run from that mirror. You're at some point, you're going to run into a brick wall and have to face it.
Absolutely.
And even in the failing, or what people would consider a failure, you said you went to rehab 12 times, and so some people would give up after the one time, but even in success in any part of life or overcoming any addiction, you're going to have to keep going, fail forward, fall forward, but keep trying, keep going. And also something very important that you mentioned along that journey is that you pick up different things. You said you wouldn't have had those principles had you not, continued on your journey. And I think that's very important, very key for people to know. This book is more than just an information piece. It's more than, like you said, it's more than just about you making money or a name for yourself, but it's about support along the way, and encouragement along the way. So freeing yourself from yourself comes back to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I titled the book. When I look back over the years, I had played the blame game for a lot of years. I got high because it rained. I got high because the sun was shining. I got high because my mama did this, or daddy didn't do this, or whatever. And when I really, really took an honest, hard look at why I was in the situations and circumstances that I landed in, it was me. I was the one. See, we're not responsible for maybe some of the environments that we grow up in or the people that we are connected to. But at some point, when we look at the results and we see that they're not positive, it then becomes our responsibility to make the adjustments, learn how to make the changes. If we're not getting positive results, it becomes our responsibility at some point. So, I accepted the fact that, you know what, I am my enemy. I'm my greatest asset, but I'm my greatest enemy at the same time.
Right. Well, that's I don't even have anything to add to that. But in this too, how did you actually get your book published?
Oh, I worked with some folks, and they were very instrumental because I did not understand this and this whole process. I self-published, and there was a team of folk that kind of guided me and held my hand, to show me what I needed to do. But I self-published. And I'm still figuring that part out, to be honest with you, Tara. I still don't fully understand it. I just know that we're out there. We're on Amazon. We have it on Amazon. We have it on iBooks, Apple iBooks. It's on Smashwords, Kobo, um, and Barnes and Noble. So, we have it on quite a few platforms.
Okay, awesome. And I know you said it took 5 years to publish or to complete the whole process. 5 years.
It did, and the reason is because of, like I said, it's a different kind of genre, with a memoir with a self-help component embedded in it, and you know, trying to make everything flow where it would make sense. One of the things that I wanted to do, Tara, is I wanted this book to be where a 10-year-old could pick it up and get some understanding, as well as a 65-year-old person. So to write a book in a language, a format that would cover that kind of age range, mentality range, that was a tough part also. I can remember getting the first manuscript and just throwing it down. I'm not doing this, because when I read it, it didn't flow. It didn't flow, and I said, I'm not going to do it. I said, I had spent 2 years, did recordings, and I worked with a book coach, and she was great. She was fantastic, but it did not. It was not what I wanted to put my name on. It didn't deliver the kind of impact, influence that I had, perceived in my mind. And so, after you've been there, you know how it is. It's like you start this thing, and I'm saying, I started this and I'm going to finish it. And I went back and I picked it back up, and I started writing again, and I got some more help, some feedback from some different people, and they kind of said, well, this makes more sense if you put this here, and we kind of arranged it, and the book actually flows. I'm telling you, I'm so proud of this book, Tara. Not because I wrote the book, not not it's not even about me, but I know, I'm 100% confident that if a person is really looking to make some changes and make some progress in their life, doesn't matter what kind of addiction or situation they're in, if they pick this book up and get an understanding and apply these principles, I'm positive they will make progress. Period.
I'm with you. I am with you on that, especially with the passion that comes through it as well. So I'm with you on that. So just before we wrap this up, were there any people that you wanted to just kind of do a special thanks or acknowledgement to with this journey, with this project, with everything going forward for free yourself from yourself?
Absolutely. There's quite a few people along my way, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of them. Of course, I can't mention all of them, but I'd like to give a shout out to my mom and dad. They really did the very best that they knew how to do, to raise me, to be the type of man that I am. Um, my daughters, Raven and Danielle, even though I may not have a close relationship with Raven, she's still always in my heart. She was the catalyst. She was really the catalyst that said, and I'll share this with you. I looked at her and I said, she, it was one of the motivating, after going through treatment 11 times, I said, I've got to give this one more shot, because I don't want her growing up and people telling her, your dad's a crackhead. I didn't want her to have to do that. And I gave it another shot. So she was that catalyst for that number 12. Because I said, if it don't work this time, I've done all I could do. So also, I have some mentors in my life, Gary Blair and, Ron Stokes. And I have some best friends, that people that became very influential. Two of my closest friends, Harvey and C-Rod, man, those guys, I've known them over 20 years. One of my close mentors, I call him Dad, Dr. Julius Sims. So I've had people who have poured into me, and I'm very grateful. Their experience has benefited me, and I hope that continues through, my experience benefiting others. So yes, it certainly wasn't a solo project.
Awesome. And so just so everyone can know, you can purchase Free Yourself from Yourself at Amazon.com. You can join the initiative and purchase books to be donated to recovery centers across the world. And that's also at freeyourselffromyourself.com or FYFYbook.com. You can do that. You can also contact the author, Timothy Stewart. You can contact him on Facebook at TalkManTalk, on Twitter at TalkManTalk. You can check out the trailer for the book at YouTube/1TalkManTalk. Or you can contact the author directly at Timothy Stewart at TalkMan. Is it Timothy Stewart at TalkManTalk.com?
It's just Tim Stewart at TalkManTalk.com.
Okay, Tim Stewart, yes. So go ahead and get your book. Go ahead and leave reviews. Purchase a book or 20 for the initiative to be donated, and connect with Tim and get in on this recovery journey to help others. Tim, was there anything else that you wanted anyone that may hear this or listen or watch this? Any final words you wanted them to know?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to talk with me and interview me about the book. I'm very grateful for your time, and I just want people to really understand that addiction is not about a particular substance or activity. It's a way of thinking, and there's information in the book that anyone could really learn from. So I hope that, as you said, that individuals would get a copy of the book, donate some copies of the book, and then leave some reviews. I really appreciate any feedback, suggestions that anyone has. Please feel free to reach out to me for bulk sales. We have some discounts available for bulk sales. So I appreciate your time and listening to this. Take care. And remember, Tim Stewart, aka TalkManTalk, I'm speaking to inspire.
Awesome. Well, I'm Tarah M. Williams of Stalk Your Destiny at stalkyourdestiny.com.